Kravu vayokot Moav mipnei Yisrael. And Rashi tried to, what does that mean? It means Katzu Kirch Bechayehem. In other words, their life was meaningless, and Kemoi Katzti Bechayai V'Humikir Katzu. Okay, in other words, they were in such a mood that they pushed it didn't pay to live. That's pushed type of life that the Yidden were giving them. First of all, why? And secondly, how does Midian get involved here? And I really don't know. Because, you see, they didn't want to touch Sichain, they want to touch any land that doesn't belong to them. Why would they want to touch Midian? So Midian, the Chayra, they were not chepping. That's first of all. And secondly, why did we not keep the land of Midian? I mean, we don't find anybody keeping the land of Midian. We killed everybody. The land should become ours by the absence of any other owner. I mean, as good as Ammon and Moav, as good as Moav did, there's one of Sichain, Oig is Eretz Yisrael, but Sichain, it should have been not a piece of land. I don't know that. I don't have answers for that. But as far as Balak was, as far as Moav was, they were affected. Why were they affected? Because in the beginning of Dvarim it says that we'll give you that part in a minute. That on Moav the Isser is Leisiga B'Mechama. You can't start a war with them. And on Ammon the Mechiyas is Leisiga B'M. You're not allowed to touch them. What's the difference between the two? Why is one the other or the other? So they say the reason is because the mother of Moav was more brazen, and Moav means straight from my father. So it's pretty obvious it's a brazen statement, and whatever it is, it's so for that the kumtep is hanoinish, and the oinish is l'sigaba muchama. The other Ramin was a more delicate statement of the thing. First of all, why do I make a statement of fact? I should have just said, call one kid Yankel and one Bell. I mean, what's the difference? Nobody will know the difference in a week of ones. The next news story will take away everything from this story. I mean, why they bother naming this one? Name these names all together. So the Rosh Shiva has a story that happened when they Shlit. You guys all know it. I know about the guys there. I don't know if they all know it. I had a story with the B'nai Shlit. The Rosh Shiva is recorded it somewhere. There was a man in his town that got sick, and part of the Rav's job is to visit the sick. So he went to see him, and he asked him what's going on. It was around Parshas Vayera, and it was that time. So he was telling him that he was being Mavisedre, and when he got to the story of B'nai Shlit, he got very upset, and why should Mashiach come from them? What do they deserve? Ammon and Moav, the Mashiach should come from them. Now, whether Maimonides was a good person, not a good person, the Gemara seems told she was a good person. The Radak says she was not a good person. It doesn't make a difference. But Lamaisa, the Malchus, the Shelshelis of the Malchus of Beis David is through Ammon and Moav. That was Wusam Moaviyah and then Nama Aminus. That's Metzias. What was the Maisis? Anyways, he told me being Mavaseder, and he asked this question, and all of a sudden he felt very tired, and he had to lie down. So he lied down, and he dreamt that two women came to him, and they said they'd have been nice late, and they hear that he has a taina against the Kadosh Baruch Hu for making them for making Mashiach come through them. So they're going to tell him the reason why. You know what the Torah says, Eidus on us, Vishlo Yidom. We lived in Sdoim, and we're that type of people, Vishlo Yidom. That's what we are. So we went with our father, and we went and became the world. We thought the whole world's going down, and therefore we did what we did. But what we're trying to show, if ever there'll be a person who claim And who, not on us, should we believe such a thing? That was a tzaddik like Lot and his daughters, who were Lishlo Yidom type of people, even in Sdom, and they have a baby. Whose baby is it? That the easiest one they could have said, it's God's baby, right? So they put a lie to the mice of the Immaculate Conception, that the others were telling Adis that if there's even a father and daughters, even Tzaddik and Tzidkoniuses, Afal Pikein, if she come down pregnant, it's May of. And I could have called my kid another name, and I put Dafka to show McClaw without any names that my kid comes from him. Okay, that's why May of. So according to that Svarit, Moyov should be a bigger tzaddik, or deserve more schar than Ammon. And here we seem to be punkt verkehrt. So I want to claim, Taki, that the Beinush was trying to save Moyov through this. How was he trying to save Moyov? They Taki would not have given food. They would not have given them any food. That's true. But what happened was, since they were allowed to steal from them, and just said, just war you can't make with them, but anything else you can. So you started to rob from them. Now where they were tired of the money, they went a little different, the real stuff instead of just the money, whatever it is, they started robbing it. And the Amonim, the Moavim not being so stupid, figured out, why, let's just sell it to them and then they won't rob us. The Ikir is they want it, we're not willing to sell. So that's why they're robbing us. Let's sell it. How do we know they did that? It's a Pasuk in Torah. The Ben Shem is talking, about when he sent the Shluchim to Sichon. So he's saying, what do I want from you? I want you that either you sell us food or that's through. Ka'asher osali b'nei Yosef hayoshvim b'seir, v'hamoyavim hayoshvim ba'or. The Shem said that they fed us. So it's in the Ferish that the Moavim fed them. So obviously, so what about the point out Shalokid Moesam B'mayim Alecha? So it says, if you take a look back in Kiseitze, where the Pasuk is, it says two reasons over there. It says, Yova Amani Mayovi, Advar Shal Kidmas Mamlechem Mamayim Baderech Tei Mitzrayim, V'asher Socha Alecha as Bilam Ben Boer Mepsarach Amoraim. What do you need two reasons for? Elavos, that for Ammon the reason is you didn't come out to feed us. Moav the reason is Socha Alecha. Now, what would be the issue of hiring Bilam? I mean, Bilam was just to get rid of you, right? Oh, Hakol Satayv. Okay, you're right. Hakol Satayv. Does that mean I have to tolerate you robbing me? Hakol Satayv means they're not going out to harm you. But does that mean I have to tolerate you robbing me? That doesn't make any sense. Like, Hakol Satayv for a person, but if he all of a sudden turns to do bad to you, you're going to defend yourself. So we see Takye that was what he wanted to do. Because it says in the beginning when he sent them, because I want you to curse them because they're stronger than me. I will be able to defeat them and I'll chase them away from the land. So how do you know what that means? So Rashi says when Bilam is telling God, they came to me for what? In order you can find it, and I can chase them away. So Rashi, it's your Aleph. Okay. Gerashtiv min ha'olam. In other words, I want to make genocide. I want to chase them out of the world. But Balak, le'omar ela v'al yoshen min ha'aretz. He only wants to chase them off in the land. Eini mevakish ela lahasiyayim me'alayim. Just want to get rid of them. And Bilam hated them more, and he wanted to get rid of them. So now what's wrong with Balak? So Balak seems to be a big tzaddik. So why are we not letting Amon and Moav declare yourself? Because he agreed to the terms of Bilam. That's the point. Now Bilam said, I'm not working on Gashenim and Oretz. I'm only working on Gashenim and Oilam. You want me? I'm in. If not, I'm out. So he said, okay, you're in. And that is a taina on him foch, the kin of Akol Satayv. Let's understand what Akol Satayv is. There's an Indian of called Shalom Lo Tachas Toiva. So what means Shalom Toiva Tachas Toiva? For instance, a guy saved the guy's life once. And all of a sudden, the one that was saved is hired by the mafia to kill the guy that saved him. So he goes over to him and he says to him, look, I'm hired to save you, to kill you, but I owe you a life, so go, you're free this time. But if I catch you again, you're dead. So in other words, I paid you back. You saved my life, I saved your life. But next time we're even, I'm going to kill you. That's Mishalom Teva Machas Teva. That's not Hakol Satayv. That is just paying back what you gave me. There's an Indian of Mishalom Tachas Teva. I'll give it to you as mamish gangsters. And this is what used to be a ploy used in certain areas of the city, where a guy would be driving a car and they want to hijack the car. That's how they do it. They lay down on the floor as if they're dying. But how do we have to judge ourselves? Are we even in that madrege? I mean, I'll give you what it means. It means once you do me toiv, I can't do you bad. It's not that I'm paying you back. The makir toiv means I can't repay you. There's no way to pay you back. So I have to always do good to you. And this can go on for generations. It's not just for one time. It's because you did me a big favor, and that's what we're wanting from them. But how many people would have such hakol? That's the problem. So really, nobody would. Maybe hidden. Hopefully, some of them will. But generally, you won't. But we're not tested. These guys were tested, and they saw klo. That is, we're not tested, so good. We can claim who says we're like that. But I'll give you a mushal to show you yourselves like this. You know, there's Yad Vashem has a thing called righteous Gentiles, right? They're people who saved the Hid Jews, even though they could have been killed. If they were caught by the Nazis, they would have been killed, right? Would you do that for them? Would you hide them from a dream that's not out to kill Jews, out to kill Poles? Would you do that? I don't think so, right? So what's shot? Okay, that's something to think about. I'm not asking any shilas here, but the David is all good. All the good Zachen. What's your reasoning, really? Yes. Why would you not? So I'm saying to the union of saying what I would do or not, and I'm a good guy or whatever it is, depends how good you are. Right? You find the hasogi of hakos hatayv. I forgot. Chiyah Barav was in the same class as Rav Huna, whatever that means. But he was a little kid, and he's still not mature. So we used to chep at Rav Huna. And Rav Huna complained to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe said, slug him one, something like that. You know, what are you coming complaining about? So he says, I should touch the son of Rav. My Rebbe, I should touch the son of Rav. So I can't touch, he's bugging me. I can't do it. That's how close I take. The same thing is over. I don't know if he lost you or not, but you gotta get him. So, yeah, so like we're looking for defense. Is that for sure we would feel entitled to defend ourselves. I'm saying that's really the taina. The taina is only they were tested, and they were willing to wipe us out because we were bugging them. Now the Yehuda said, "No, I don't want to go that far. I only want to get rid of them. I want them to. I want to pay for whatever they took, whatever it is there, and get out of here. You can't." So this is what was bothering them. The Sailor, how did Midian get involved? Were they chepping Midian too? Now, it could be. Why? Why would they be chepping Midian? I mean, Moshe Rabbeinu definitely would not be interested in chepping Midian because he grew up there. He wouldn't touch them. Can't find him.
It's on. Okay.
You know, all I have to do really is call my great-grandchild.
Oh, yeah, it's not on.
A 2-year-old one, and they probably know how to fix this 1, 2, 3. It's up to us, people. Okay, so we're back in business. Okay. So that is the situation that Balak was in. Balak agreed to it, and so on. Now let's understand Bilam. Bilam is a Navi.
So what bothered them?
Huh?
So how do we bother them? How did we bother them?
Midian. Moav, we were robbing them.
So that's what Kiravu means?
No, that's a different thing. They told me, if we have to be a Klola, because without that I can't beat them. That's why I go to war with them. But I'm a small nation, they're a big nation. Again, now how big could they be compared to Edom? They're probably about the same size as Edom, right? And Midian is really starting out from Avram's kid, right? Avram's later kids, right? And he has 5. He had 5 sons. He has an army. He has an Amrav, a big country with 5 kings and a whole business, right? Moav has 1. We have, how many people do we have? Now it says Kiravu, we're a lot. If that's a lot, it bothers me, and I don't know the type of the tail is a lot, but the truth is, you told me 600,000 people. To me, that's a nothing. What do you mean to me? It's nothing. I mean, talking about compared to the world that exists. What's the number? 600,000. They get mamjag on it. So the percentage of Jews in the world is a gonit. So we're Rav. You know, we're piteously small nation. If we would have gone out with the real amount that went out in Mitzrayim, then we would have been an Amrav. But now we're puny, we're a little nation. And yet you find such lashonas. It's interesting. What we're nimshul kafar oretz, kech v'ashemayim, right? Kech v'ashemayim, how many are there? I have no idea. It says, that's true. I can't count them. What do you mean you can't count them? You ever take a picture of the sky? They have such from the planetariums, and they got the thing there. Try counting them. 1, 2, 3. You're going to lose count somewhere along the line. I missed one by the anyway. It's very hard to count them. And you have this even by a minion. You have 9 that look like 10 is a minion. What do you mean they look like 10? 9, how could 9 look like 10? Sometimes you have 10 that look like 9. So I'm all together, spread out. I don't know which one is which, but sometimes you take a look, oh, we got a minion for sure here, right? And then you think, well, what? There's only 9 guys? Sometimes it's saying nobody here. You haven't got a minion yet. Oh, yeah, we got a minion. Like that. Saying. So obviously there's sometimes appearances make it, but it doesn't make sense. And I've seen in the say Davis and something when you talk about Shem, it was near Gedolah. What does near Gedolah mean? I mean, so I think they were talking about 20,000 people. What's 20,000 people? You're right, it's a lot for Shimon and Levi to kill, but 20,000 people, first of all, 20,000 people, that means maybe 10,000 men, another 10,000, only 3,000 are grown up. I mean, so what's your problem of a war here? What kind of war do you have here? Okay, 203,000. Okay, but the amounts that they use, I don't know. And you have also when they die, we saw that there's certain the clear where the Torah puts the numbers down. By Kerach it puts the numbers down, and by Balak they don't really put the number, they hint at the number. Balak you had 200,000. How do you have 200,000? You had 24. That 24,000 divided by Zimri, and you have 176. Rashi makes a cheshbon that to get rid of the Magay for the Bezin killed each shofet killed 2 guys. So you have, he makes a cheshbon of what it is there, and it comes out to total 176. 176 and 24 is 200,000, right? It's a round number. Kerach, a round number, 14,700. As they died, and I gave, and 250, and Movad, the guys who fought over there. So you got already 14,950, right? And Movad that died with the going into the earth, that could be 50 already. So you're dealing again with a round number, right? And then you have numbers that doesn't say a number, just Amrav, whatever it is, Ma'id, whatever, sometimes Ma'id, by the Ben Choshim, by the, right, by the Choshim, where else, and by Tavera, and even by Kis, they're not by, what do you call Kis, that type of system, but Tavera, it doesn't say a number. So sometimes use the Loshen, Rav. How much does that mean? I don't know what it means. But obviously, what we think of always when you say Kiravhu must mean billions and billions, doesn't seem to be the case. On the other hand, again, Tisha B'Av is going to be in the summer. Halav, we don't have one this year. But if we do, or even if we don't, we can still learn the Gemara. I mean, and the thing there is talking about how many people were into a Malki, and I'm sure and the Churban and the times. Okay, even with leaving on the union of Gemara, that it's what do you call it?
Exaggeration.
Guzma.
A guzma, even though we think it's a guzma. But guzma also has to be realistic. I mean, it has to be some kind of number that you would realize. No, Shiva once told me, I asked him that once, and he told me, he says, the cash is not why they had so many people in their time, the cash is why we have so little people in our time. And over time, I got to understand that. So I'll give you a bunch of numbers. The Kaiser Court's called progression, okay? If I would say to you, you give me a penny a day, and each day double it. That means the first day you give me a penny, the second day you give me 2 cents, the third day you give me 4 cents, 8 cents, and then I'll give you $10,000. Well, you would jump at it, right? You know how much the last night will be on the 30th day? It will be a total of, between everything, it should be close to $10 million. Okay? It's 5,400 the last day, whatever it is. That's plus 20 something, whatever. It'll come out to almost $10 million. From a penny a day. In 30 days. Not even talking about it, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. Take it to 30 days. Okay? That's progression. Ura once put out something like this, that if there be a person that has 6 children, not counting the first person, and those children, each one will have 6 children, and we're not talking when they intermarry with each other, I mean, they have 6 children, And again, those children will have 6 children. Do this for 10 days, and you have 10 million people. So that's an awful lot of people for one guy, right? I don't want to brag about, so I'm going to give you one thing. I can tell you the numbers, no, in Harav business. But I beat Yankee Reuven already. Now, he had a bigger start. He had 12 kids. I only had 4 kids, and I beat Yankee Reuven. So, and by quite a bit. Not just, I just beat him. I got 71. I mean, what's shot? So that's cool. And then that's, I guess, also progression. When I had 4, I don't know what they have, whatever they have. And theirs have, whatever it is. So the right, so Rosh Hashiva is right as far as that goes. The Kasha is why there's so little people in the world. So it could be, we say that's why there's wars, and that's why there's magefas, and that's why there's this. The Ben should make sure he keeps them down in a different company. That's the way the Rebbe runs the world. He wants to, he said, the Rishoyim he kills out this time, over there, whatever it is, though. And obviously he takes care of them in different ways. And so the world doesn't have that many. But the Yidden we should have plenty. So they did make a cheshbon. It's interesting that I think the Pew company, whatever the Pew, they make cheshbons, especially on Yidden. So we're talking about how many Yidden there are in the world. So it's about approximately 16 million, they say. More than 47, 50, I forgot already. It's 47 or something is in Israel now. And the rest is spread out. The only real big numbers are here. But everything else. And then he says, but they made a cheshbon with the intermarriages to go again, 40%, that's what I said, 40% were intermarried years ago. Now it's probably even more. And they figured that it's at least 1.5 million, if not more. They had a cheshbon should be kosher yidden. In other words, meaning that the mother's never shmadzach and never, just living with a guy. And there's that many kids that maybe have halacha, maybe you'll make them say halacha. Spain is up Giret, and then Europe is, and they all got Jews all over the place. So it will come, who knows when the Gula comes, what will be, and then the Sels Hashvat, and surely you'll be around. So you will be a big nation, then we'll be a big nation. I mean, right now, if you make a cheshbon, if you 8 billion people now, figure 16 million out of 8 billion is how much? Out of 1,000 million is a billion, right? And we're only 16 of the first billion, right? And there's 8 of them, right? So, how many are they? Okay. Yeah, now the question is, who is Balak? What difference does it make who Balak is? Rashi says he was a Midiani that happened to be appointed. They made a deal with Midian, even though they were enemies. But this is the way the Pshor made. The king will be from Midian, and the emissaries will be from, the nobility will be from Moav. Okay, makes sense. Nice deal. But that means that Balak is not a Moavi. Rus, the Meachis, of course, is from, what's his name? Moav, Eglon Melch Moav, right? A daughter or something, but Eglon comes from Balak. So he's a Midiani. So why does it say doch Namosa came along and said Kach Mikublaini mi base Dini Shel Shmuel Mosi Amayni V'lai Moavi V'lai Moavis Amayni V'lai Moavis, right? The Metzias doesn't exist. Maybe on the Amaynis it does, but Moavi, but this is not a Moavi. She's a Midiani. So what's it got to do with the whole Indian? So I can't answer you. Because even into marrying doesn't make it different. Because he goes after the husband, the man, like, what do you call it? Haman Agogi. What made him Agogi? What, Agag was in jail, and there was a shifra there, and when he lived with the shifra, she gave birth to a kid, and what he called, so that kid has a din of an Amaleki, and if it's a boy, he's going to keep marrying that. Whoever he marries is still going to be an Amaleki. And so the only thing, every nation goes after the father, except the Yidden, Kedusha, to what he called, we go after the mother. But as far as the nation goes after the father. Okay. Now again, we're talking about that Bilam was a Navi. A Navi that's, according to the Medrash, is whatever it means is on parallel to Moshe Rabbeinu in certain aspects. Like it says, like come Yisrael Navi Moshe. So the Gemara says, "Come to Moshe Yisrael like come, Avraham is come, Manu Bilam." Doesn't make sense. The guy's a Rosh Hashanah, right? So why is he a Navi? Why does he have such a high keach in Nevuah? So Rashi brings down again, why did he land up being a Navi? Is because the Goyim have a taina that, it's unfair. To the Yidden he gave Nevi'im, and that's why they're so good. And Tarsi didn't give Nevi'im, so therefore what do you want from us? Okay. So it's a good taina. But it's not true. I gave you Nevi'im also. I gave you Noach, nobody listened to him. I gave you Shem, I gave you Aver, I gave you, if you hold Eov and his friends, that's another 5. So about 8, 9 Nevi'im. And obviously, and Avram was really to Avram and Goyim, so he was trying for the people. So you got enough Nevi'im, why didn't you listen to them? Right? That's not a Navi for us. Those are goody guys. I don't think they're not for us. I'm talking one of the boys to be a Navi. In other words, if someone is a rotten guy by Midas, he should be a Navi. And he'll tell you, so I'll give you a marshal what they were looking for. Okay? They're all playing cards in the wherever they're playing it, and Bilam keeps winning. Right? So they make him strip to make sure he doesn't have any cards up his sleeve. They make him what he called, they'll take care of him, and they see there's nothing there. So they ask him, how come you win every pot? He says, I believe in God, that's why. Oh, it pays to believe in God, so we'll all believe in God, and therefore that's why it pays. That's why they believe in God. Now with that I understand, that's a God I can believe in. You want one that's going to sit and daven all day, learn all day, forget about it. That's not a God. That's not a God for us. That's not a Navi for us. Okay. So that's what he wanted Bilam. And Bilam maybe was very effective. If he got out doing that, I'm sure he got a lot more people than the other guys who got. Yeah. Now, how can he make a toyus? Rashi brings down again that he made a toyus in the Indian of that he says the Feinstein asked him who anoshim Eila, and he says to them what he called him. So he started to think maybe God doesn't know everything. What do you mean maybe God doesn't know everything? Maybe you talk about us. We have no concept of what God is. You don't have anything there. So good. I get a zak feeling in our minds. But you're talking about Bilam. Bilam's supposed to be the Navi. So if he's that, he knows who God is. So what's the kasha? So how can he make such a toys? And not only him, Rashi says about Yodam Rishon also the same. When he says, Ayeka, where are you? Adam Rishon is the biggest, closest person to God. That's Shaykh V'Olam. And we're saying there, not what Nevuah, not else Nevuah, but else a body. He's the Yitzir Kappa Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So what's the big deal? So he's really got, but mostly Yitzir Kappa Shal HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Many there is removed, but I'm Yitzir Kappa. Okay. No, then when you find when the Babun, I think it was trying to, the Moras HaMachpelah was trying to make cheshbonos where the tum is. So he's coming down and he saw Eliezer of Avram sitting by Avram's mokim, and he said, "You can't go in because Saul was now doing something with the hair and something like that. It's not a tzniistic a moment. You can't come in." Okay, so he didn't come in, and then he says to the Bnei Shalom, "So I want to see Adam Chava." So he said, "It's your kappa. You're not going to see." In other words, there's something that the Bnei Shalom, this is mine. I made it. So therefore, there's no kasha that he had some kind of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's going to make a toy, some knows and not knows. I mean, it's impossible. So what I think it means is this. We all understand no din of Bechira, right? That the Bnei Shalom, however it works, the Bnei Shalom knows everything. There's no question about it. But he tunes out somehow that he gives you whatever it means. I have a shot to taste this, not to the Rambam. But what it is there that he tunes out this Inyan. He makes it that I don't know. So whenever Bechira starts coming into place, the Benjamin stays out of it. And he does not know the thing. When does Bechira start? Does Bechira start the minute that you started to think about doing an Avera? So if that's the case, that started then. So then, I don't know who was by you. Because that's part of Bechira. Of course, I could know if I want to, but I don't want to know because you're doing a chet or you're doing a mitzvah, one of the two things. I don't want to know. That's why I give you Pshat and Bechira. Same thing on Torah Marishan. They ate for the Eitz Hadas and stuff, and they were covering up for it. So the question is part of the chet. So it's part of the chet, then go in there. We'll have some a different Pshat in the Rambam. It's one important. Okay, so that's who he is. Yeah, he comes to Maisu with, he's on this donkey, and the sinners Mikalkelas Ashura. He does it himself. He has two servants that travel with him constantly, yet he saddled his own mule. So they wanted to use as the time as a schus that you see how much sin is. It's a kvar kodma Avram Avinu. When he went to the Akedah, it says that I'm talking about Baikia, he also did it all himself because Avram Kakelas Ashura. So the Avram of Avram Avinu that he did a Maise that was below his dignity because of the Avot Hashem can't counteract an act of sinner that was done with what do you call it? They wants to destroy Klal Yisrael. Anyway, so the Bnei Shalom didn't approve him from going. He sees and he said the Smalach comes along. It Parshas the Gavriel comes along, and he's scaring this poor donkey. And meanwhile, Bilam is getting a little embarrassed over here that he somehow can't control his donkey. And she hurts his foot. She all of a sudden sits down on the floor and she's not moving. I mean, this is intolerable. Okay, those are the 3 steps. Rashi tightens up that the Malach was a Malach Rachamim. It sounds pretty strange to me. It doesn't sound like Rachamim over here. He's beating them up. No, it's Rachamim. I'm trying to save him if I'm doing an Avera. I'm trying that somehow he should realize that he should go back. And that's called a Malach Rachamim. If you think in your own lives sometimes, think about it. I sometimes find over different instances, I go back 50 years, 60 years, 70 years ago. Probably that long, yeah. That I find certain instances where the Rebbeinu Shalom actually saved me from doing something. And obviously, it could have been a chet. I don't know if it would have been a chet. I don't remember my machshavos at that time, but that could have been a chet. And because he stopped me. In other words, he didn't give me the taive, he didn't give me the what do you call it, whatever it is there. I was in a bad mood. I mean, whatever the thing is, I hurt myself, and therefore I wasn't able to do the chet. That is the thing. If you think about it in your own life, you have it. The Gemara's case is a very obvious case. The Gemara's case is of Talmud of Abchiyas, that he once wanted to go to a Zayna. It's a very expensive one, and he goes there, and the tzitzis beat him up because he was nizel and tzitzis. So they beat him up. So why they beat him up? They made him stop, right? So they saved him, right? But he got pitch for it. I mean, it hurt. It wasn't just a good thing. It wasn't, but Lamaisa, it saved him from doing the chet. And sometimes the Benshim does that to you. He saves you from doing the chet in a thing like that. And that's what the Malach was trying to do. Since you're Fochta Novi, you have that power. And maybe you're very effective. Maybe you brought in many people to believe in Hashem. You know, they know that there is a Rebbeinu Shalom, whatever it is. They know it's for Panosa, they know it's for what he called. But they know there's a Rebbeinu. That doesn't stop me from doing Averos. Okay, I understand. But Lamaisa, at least you know there's a Rebbeinu Shalom in the world. And that's a big zach. Stealing those are different cheshbon. That's at that point. That's why I want to bring that in. But we show that in a few places that the Torah used that. We have it in Bamidbar too, and it's in Vayikra. Ma'al B'Hashem is Geneva. When I'm Ma'al B'Hashem, not that I'm doing a Maisa. I'm Ma'al B'Hashem, that's a Geneva. I do the Maisa Mehila, that's a use Hegdish. You want to see the Lashonis in Vayikra? Very obvious. And I show it to you here too, but Bamidbar, but it's in Vayikra. First Seder, Vayikra. It's Seder, okay, Oshim. Right? The first Oshim is Oshim and Yilis. Like that by Chumash Shiur, Nefesh Kisimo Ma'al B'Choto B'Shgogo B'Totche Hashem. Behavior is Hashem El Hashem. Didn't say he's Ma'al B'Hashem, he says Ma'al B'Choto B'Shgogo B'Totche Hashem. Geneve. Nefesh Kisechedo Ma'al B'Hashem V'Chichesh B'Amisei. That's Ma'al B'Hashem. Now, why are you Ma'al B'Hashem? You think that, why are you stealing? I want this thing. So go buy it. I have no money. So go earn some money. The banks don't want to give it to me. Right? I'm trying, can't get a job. I'm trying, I can't earn any money. So the banks doesn't want to give it to me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take it myself. So you think you can take something God doesn't want to give you? So if I stay you can't. So that's why it's a milah about Kodesh Baruch Hu. You're saying that you can do something against the Kodesh Baruch Hu, a Ma'aser. Where's it in Bamidbar? It's in Parshas Nahar, in the story of between just before it goes into the Nesiim, before the Tumah, before the Nizayah. Dam Shamosh Dabam Neisol Ishi Yasmin Kochatis Odom Limo Mao Bashem Vashvamay Banefesh Ahi. He said, now what do? They stole from a girl. That's again stealing. It's called Oshim. And more Mao Bashem. So stealing is more Bashem. So I can't say a guy who truly believes in God is going to steal. That much he won't do. But other titles he's going to give in to. There's no question about it. He wants to do certain things. I think maybe even hit somebody, which is it's not that's not a meal in the Shem. And maybe it is if you hold that the Benjamin controls you're able to do it or not. I mean, then you won't be able to do it if he doesn't want it done. So whatever it is.
Why is Meila itself
Why doesn't Mila have the same thing? You're taking something that you think.
Yeah, but to God, it belongs to Hegdish. I have no kavanas to steal it. They're just using it as enough.
So the Gazlan of Shel Shalem Das wouldn't have this thing of.
Probably not. That probably not. I mean, I have no kavanah to steal. I have no one to go. Whatever it is, there. I happen to steal. That's what you call it. Shaila is wise or ben. You should give it to me that way. That's the thing, you know. Give me bracha when I'm working. Why should you give me bracha when I'm stealing? When I'm doing something that's not right. Okay. The question you have is why is it so important for us to know that the Rebbeinu created it ben hashmoshes. Pi Hosen is one of the 10 things that he created ben hashmoshes. What did the Hosen do? He said 2 statements. Why did you beat me up? And then he said, am I not the one that the donkey you rode on from the beginning? Right? Did I ever do this to you before? That's it. That's the ganze Zach. What was so important for this thing, for this statement? That we have to make a new Bria, Shabbos, because it has to be created out of Shabbos, and only happen by itself. So God can have animals talking. He's not going to be, what do you call it? And, maybe he made that the dogs can talk, Taki, and all those jokes about the dog talking. Like once he made already that animals can talk, so maybe Taki can talk. They just don't talk, but he could make it that way. So I don't know really, but I think that this lesson that we're mechuyev to make cheshbeinis when things happen to us, did this ever happen before? There was a lot of times someone hurt you and you feel my best friend did something against me, right? And I am angry at him, I hate him, whatever it is there, until for another week, and then afterwards he's somewhere as for chila, and the other one he will bust buttons again. But why are you enemies for the least a week? Why didn't you think about it? Did I ever do this to you before? So if I did it now, must there be not a reason? Maybe I did it by mistake. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe I had a different kavanah, or whatever it is there. And then all of a sudden I'm not angry at you. That's a very important lesson. We don't listen to it always. Even though we know you did good. And especially married couples, they have the first fight for sure. Till then they were nice to each other. So what happened all of a sudden? That you didn't have my breakfast ready, or I burnt my toast, or whatever the thing is there. We're going a little overtime simply because trying to make up.
How do we see this from the PL sign?
Huh?
How do we see this from the PL sign?
Yes, I'm saying because the Yosin said that. Did I ever do this to you before?
What he said.
That's one Mr. Business Musa and the chair. And that's good for us too. Okay. Now, one thing I want to explain is Yalkut. I don't really understand it, so I'm not really quoting it right. And maybe I'm misreading it. But let's understand the mice what happened. Bilam gives an eitzah to Moav that you want to get the, he knows b'yachas hayom the Yidden are going to win, right? But I'm going to tell you what these guys, what their children are going to do to you, b'yachas hayom, to your children. So they're going to win. So why are you doing this? Because I hate them so much, I'm going to kill as many as I can. Right? Even though it's going to get me in Gehenna. Bilam is not interested to save himself from Gehenna. He's interested in killing Klal Yisrael. And he's going to do that no matter what. Well, that's what he hopes to do anyway. He doesn't go to Kibbutz, he gets to go to Gehenna or whatever it is for it. So therefore, even though, as long as the bench will let me do the Aveira first, and then he's not going to stop me, that's all I'm interested in. Okay. gave the Eitzah to Mimizana with the Yidden. Now, first of all, can you imagine such a large number of Jews doing Aveda? It's talking about 20% of Klal Yisrael, 20%, 200 out of 800. Yeah, it's 20%. Now, it's for 200,000 we said got killed, right? And we still have 600,000 left afterwards. So it was about 20% of Klal Yisrael. The 20% of Klal Yisrael is going to be Mizaneh and Bal don't make any sense. So the Medrash gives a way how it was done. And maybe there we can understand it a little. Well, I say only a little, because I really still can't get that into my mind. But I'm judging it and see what I think I would react, you understand? Although I know what I'd react, I don't know what I would react. What I think what I would react, okay? He says they used to put out, they were selling linens. They said that these people like linen. So they set up a store. You ever go shopping for your mother to a grocery store, a fruit store? Okay. You have stuff on the outside, and the good stuff is inside, right? And you want to get the better stuff that's inside. The outside is a bargain. 10 cents an apple, whatever it is there. Inside, 50 cents an apple. What's the difference? There's the good one. This one's not so good. Okay, it's some kind of apple, whatever you want to say. So they set up the same thing. They had outside, they had an old lady. Inside, they had a beautiful girl. So they had the old lady and showing them the stuff on the outside. And they said, is anything better than this stuff? Says, yeah, inside. So they go inside. And here the description from different Midrashim is a little different. I'll give you the one that I understand the best. Okay. So they give it to anyone. And they goes inside. There's this beautiful girl. And showing him the linens, and then somewhere she's next near him, and all of a sudden she starts crying. Right? Why you hate us? Why do you have against us? We're not bothering you, and all that stuff. And what's your natural reaction if somebody would do that next to you? You would put your hands around them and say, no, please stop crying. So we don't hate you, we love you, and all that type of stuff, right? But you got physical contact now. And once you got the physical contact, she can do some things over there that will automatically make it a point where it's hard to control yourself, and then they do it. Now we have a clash here. Why to Baal Peor? Why not to Chumash? The God of Moav is Chumash, right? So why not do it? It says that in the song, in the whatever is thing, the Am Chumash. So the nation of Chumash. So why are you going to Baal Peor? If it's a question for the tithe, so I shouldn't make you go bow to her. Should have made you go bow to Chumash, and then I'll live with you. Right? That's not the pshat. Go into something I said before. You know, we can learn Le'ovim B'nei Yisrael Avodah Zorah Lehitel Hemarais. So, Parshas we're saying it means a schus for Klal Yisrael. They really don't believe in Avodah Zorah, but the Arais is the type of Arais is so big that they'll even give Avodah Zorah whatever it is. Of course, nobody wants to do something that's wrong. So my justification will be that Avodah Zorah permits it. Okay. I want to say the opposite. It's a taina on Klal Yisrael. You have a taiva, do your taiva. Why do you have to add Avodah Zorah to your averos? Why don't you do your taiva? You have a taiva, do it. Very cool. So then you'll be able only one avera at least. What do you think? Okay. Using that logic, then I don't really. The first one is I want a justification for why I'm doing it, right? So I have to get something that justifies it. I mean, it's all or whatever it is there. That's what I'm saying is what Baal Peor is. How does it justify Baal Peor? So like this. The same kash with Moshe. What is the Avodah Zarah of Baal Peh? How do you serve it? You go to the bathroom in front of Baal Peh, right? That's pretty disgusting, if you ask me, right? So what kind of an Avodah Zarah wants that? Right? Gosh, what kind of crazy thing is this? So I kind of, what it means is, they're trying to justify, notice how, if it's natural, it's good. If you're going to the bathroom, it's a natural part of being a human being, so then what are you ashamed of? And I think I even quoted from the Feinstein that there was, after Shabbat Tzvi, there was a next group called the Feinstein. Frank, he was a guy who also, I don't know if a false Mashiach or this type of thing, also a guy to do Averos, through spiritualism and all that kind of stuff. So the Shiva told me that his method of Avodah was that he wants to show how holy he is. We go to the bathroom in public. Why? Because you might see Gashmis from you. You eat in private because then you machnes Gashmis into you. So that's the thing there. That's a type of Avodah. You build up that kind of a seichel for what you're doing, you can justify anything. So here you justify it. If it's natural, it's good. Right? And in communism, they used to teach it, if it should be just like a drink of water. It's love, they believe in free love. But it should be like a drink of water. You need a drink of water, you need this too. So there's no issa in it, no nothing. It's an Ashkeit and all the issa. Okay. So that's what they did. So they bowed to Baal Peh, meaning I accept it as a shita. So they actually served Avodah Zarah besides being of the Avodah. Not just I bowed down, or you think I don't even know if you call that a bow down. Let's say if a guy is standing here, bow down to the Avodah Zarah, so the stuff. Is that really a bow down or not? You can't say that you're threatened with your life, like with the Chana and her 7 sons could be they if they would have bowed down, it would have been what he called. But the little one who didn't even want to pick up the thing for the Melech, so it shouldn't look like he bowed down for sure. But who knows? This I can't see. I don't know the halach in that if it'll be us or not. Or is it called the Ma'aseh Shtachavoya, where there's a type of honest that something, at least definitely, it would call, it would be l'teyovin, a mumma l'teyovin. It wouldn't be even a mumma l'achis, l'teyovin. Shaykh and Avodah Zarah, mumma l'teyovin could be. But what does the Yalkut say? The Yalkut says that Moshe Rabbeinu was buried opposite Baal Peh. For what reason? That every so often Baal Peh rises from the ground and Moshe Rabbeinu stands there and pushes him back into the ground. What are you talking about? Baal Peh is the Avodah Zarah. There is no such thing. What do you mean rises from the ground? Right? So I want to tie it simply liberalism, communism, whatever you want to call it. The Indian that everything is mutter. I'll show what's going on in our world now. Right, everything is mutter. So right now that's Baal Peh. Maybe you don't have to serve an Avodah Zarah for it anymore, but it's Baal Peh. And the question is, Moshe Rabbeinu every so often gets up and puts him down. How we'll put him down here, I don't know. But we saw they came, let's say AIDS came and got rid of a big of these type of people. Why? Because the Ben Shem wanted to get rid of them, something like that. He didn't do it. He didn't wipe them out, but he got rid of a good chelik in them. Right? They made the thing up. And so there's an Indian that Ben Shalom sometimes comes back. I will show us this Nisim, the Ben Shalom will show us the Yirtzeh Hashem, and soon with that will come Mashiach and before Tisha B'Av.